Hello, everybody. I am back for another discussion. So let's see. Earlier, we talked on my Facebook a little bit about something, and I want to talk about it a little bit more. Let's give everybody a moment to get in here. Uh, right. All right, so I'm gonna get started. So welcome everybody. I like to call this free conversations. If you've been following me for a while, I had previously done something called Tough Topic Tuesday. So we're going to skip over Tuesday and come straight to Wednesday and talk about some things. So on my Facebook page, we talked about how do you know? No, that's not the question. When is it your responsibility to heal? And I posed the question. I got a lot of really, really good questions. Shout out to all of those people who had commented on my post. You all were amazing and gave me your feedback, which I thought was all really good feedback on how to heal. But I want to come talk just a little bit tonight about how you know when you still have some healing to do. Three signs. These are just three general signs when you know you still got some healing to do. So I'm going to talk about this from experience, and especially from my own healing process. There's a lot of things that I learned not only from my process, but from others as well. And I want to give you three things. So those three things are your emotions are out of whack. That's one sign that you might need some healing, a little bit more healing. Number two, all or many of your relationships are strained. How many of y'all know people like that? Like a lot of people have very strained relationships. Like it's not just one, it's a lot of relationships. Um, and there is no sign of progressive change in your life. That's number three. So there's three things. So let's dive into each one of those real quick. I'm not going to be on here long. I want to talk about these three things and hop on off. And if y'all have any feedback you want to provide about these three signs, then feel free to comment, share this video. I really appreciate you tuning in and having this discussion with me. So the first sign is that your emotions are out of whack. Um, to me, that's a little like emotional instability or the lack of emotional intelligence, should I say. And I know this to be true because I used to be an emotional wreck, y'all. I everything would make me in my feelings or have me crying, or I just had no emotion, no control over my emotions. Like, so I allowed my emotions to rule me. And that's one way that I knew that I needed to experience a little bit more healing in my life. And that took a while, right? And so my emotions was out of whack. It even got to the point where I ended up putting something in my phone, a notification, because I realized that it was my emotion was just controlling me. So it was something that said it was kind of ruling, but this is how I talk to myself to kind of get myself in check. So it was like my emotions doesn't matter right now. Just do it, because I allow my emotions to rule my day. Like the things that I did, the things I would say. I think at one point I had a foul tongue. I would just tell you whatever I felt like I wanted to tell you in the moment and didn't care about your feelings. One. So my emotions being out of whack kept me from in doing and growing in life. So it kept me from accomplishing goals. It kept me from doing tasks immediately. You ever heard of procrastination? That was me procrastinating on a lot of stuff. And then I caused myself stress in the end. So if your emotions are out of whack, it keeps you from being stable. It causes you to be unstable. So in my life, I told myself my emotions didn't matter in that moment because they were out of whack and I had no true control over them because they ruled me. Um, Another thing too is that when people control your emotions and you don't, that's another way to know that you might need a little bit more healing. Um, is that people control your emotions and you don't. When it comes to your emotions, you're emotionally unstable. Like somebody can say something to you. Like when I was younger, like my dad would say one thing to me, like, and he was right, whatever was said, but I would just bawl and break down and crying. And it was not really anything that he said, but it was just the fact that somebody said something to me. Like he was controlling my emotions and I wasn't. Or if somebody says something to you like, "Oh, well, have you considered doing this?" and you get up in an uproar, or you go off subject, or you take it as an offense, like you become very offensive or defensive, and you think somebody's attacking you. When you don't have control over your emotions and people control your emotions, anything that they can say or anything that they can do will control your emotions. That is the tip number one, not sign number one, that you might still need to do some healing. um, which is that you don't have control of your emotions. So if you can't control your emotions and people control your emotions, that is a sign that you might need to do a little bit more healing. Um, Number two, we're going to talk about all or many of your relationships are strained. That's a big one, y'all. Like if everybody got a problem with you, or you got a problem with everybody, then that's an issue, like a big issue. Because at some point, we have to do some internal reflection. Like, if my relationships are all straight, or sometimes if all of them are good, it might be a little sign that, you might be people pleasing. Um, but if all, that's why I said all or many of your relationships are strained, that may be a sign that you might need to do a little bit more healing. Because we are designed to be in relationship. God created us for us to be in relationship with each other. And so if all or many of your relationships are strained, that's an issue. There might be something that you're not dealing with that's causing you and your relationships to be strained. We are supposed to come together in harmony and unison with people. And if all or many of your relationships are strained and you don't have nobody who got your back, and who's not a yes person. And that's another thing too. We shouldn't have yes people in our lives. Like yes to everything. They girl you, yeah, man, you doing good, or they always cheering you on. But it's a part of you that need to be telling you that you need to work on some things. And if people can't tell you that they can't, there might be some areas that you can improve without you being offended, and it causes strain in your relationship, that might be a sign that you might need to do some more healing. um, so number three, I told y'all I wasn't gonna be on here long. I wasn't gonna be here long. Number three, this is just three signs that you might need to do a little bit more healing. Share this with anyone that you might think might benefit. Anything. If they get upset with you, that might be a sign that they might need to do some more healing. If they send this to you, if you send that to them. Um, Sorry, I'm laughing. Sometimes I laugh at stuff that's kind of funny, but it might not be funny to everybody, but it's kind of funny. But share this on your page. If you don't want to send it to someone you might think you might offend them, just share on your page. They might see it. So if you if there's no sign of progressive or significant progressive change in your life, there's no sign of progressive change. That means like if you're not making changes in your life, if they're not significant changes. So if you're not accomplishing the goals that you desire to accomplish, if you're not meeting the people that you desire, if you're not growing your relationships, whether it be a intimate relationship with a spouse or with your children or with your parents or with your profession in the professional environment, that might be a sign that you might need to do a little bit more healing. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad any of these things doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're lacking insight into your life. It just means that you just need a little, what might mean you're lacking insight in your life. That's why you just need to get a little more healing and seek some professional support. Um, because if your emotions are out of whack, you're having many or all your relationships strained, or you're not seeing any progressive change in your life, there's something that's keeping you from moving forward. And that is okay. It's not um a sign of saying that you're crazy or you're not a you're a bad person. Just shows that you're wounded. That's all. It just really just shows that you're wounded and you just need to work on some of the things that are going on in your life or had experience in your life. Okay. I mean, our trauma may not be our fault, but it is on us to accept the trauma and discover who we are. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. It is our responsibility to accept what it is. You don't have to accept because y- you come to terms of what happened to you, but also it is our responsibility to discover it and grow and develop as we work through those traumatic experiences, whatever those experiences may be. So remember those three things. If um, your emotions are out of whack, people control how you feel, what you do. Um, if you have way too many strained relationships, I'll say that, way too many, and you're not seeing signs of progressive change in your life, those are three things that are key flags to notice that you are needing some healing. So I am connected to a lot of therapists. I'm not promoting just one or two, but if you need someone, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and if you need someone to connect with to work on your trauma and you want to get pointed into the right direction, feel free to inbox me. Um, when I come across resources or people, I'll post them, I'll share them. But it is important that we take care of ourselves and that we work on our healing. Healing is a continual process. It doesn't have an expiration date. So don't feel like that because you've tried or you worked on some things that you just hadn't made it, you haven't arrived. That's not what healing does. You come to pivotal points in your healing, but healing is a process because there's things that still come up for me, even myself. I'm in therapy now, like, and I have been over the years, but over time I realized that there's still some things that's still in there I have to get out. And it comes with self discovery, being able to self reflect and understand who you are as an individual. So, whatever you're experiencing, because there's a lot of people, this just came to mind for some reason, there might be somebody watching that is experiencing isolation as a result of having too many strained relationships. Um, Please seek support. No one should be living in isolation to where they have nobody that they can reach out to, nobody that they can call on as a friend or someone that they can call on as a support, a professional support, especially. So, no one should be living in isolation um, because it just worsens our mental health in general. It causes it to be worse. So that's all I wanted to talk about tonight is those three signs you may need to do some more healing. And that's okay if you do. Remember to don't let anything or anybody keep you from living the life that you desire and God purposed you to live. I love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night and be free.